guys, alright, lots of information today. So first I want to tell you guys why Easter is not pagan. It's not Wiccan, it's not associated with traditional craft, that's for sure. Everything, it's neo-pagan. If anything, it's neo-pagan spirituality, which is, it's pretty dangerous, neo-paganism, and this modern quote revival of these ancient pagan holidays. That really, Easter's not an ancient pagan holiday. Witchcraft is a practice. It's also a religion. It can't be a religion, but then it is a religion. But then Wicca came in, and then boom, here we go with Easter, Ostara, whatever you want to call it. It began in the 1950s. Globally, the bunny, the egg, and the bunny are associated with rebirth, and that is the springtime. So we've celebrated that already with the Spring Equinox. Is it the Spring Equinox? Yeah, we did. So, and then again in traditional witchcraft, that's not really recognized either. It's only a few major Sabbats that are actually recognized as true holidays from the faith. Alright, so first, if you guys want to go up here to mysgamer.com, enter my name, RYANE, all cap locks, and you get 10% off anything that you want in the store, especially these amazing black obsidian stones. So I did a little research, well, I did actually a lot of research on why pagan, or why Easter is not pagan. So, this is just a general thing right here, explaining why. So this person asked the question, is Easter a pagan holiday? Answer, no. It's not a pagan holiday. Easter is not a pagan holiday. Easter is the Christian celebration of Jesus Christ's resurrection from the dead. Christians believe that Jesus, the Son of God, died for our sins on a Roman cross, which was a stick, not a cross. It was buried and rose to life on the first day of the week, very early in the morning. And that's Luke 24:1. Now, those who claim that Easter is a pagan holiday usually mean that the word Easter is etymologically linked to the name of an ancient goddess, Ostara, or Oster, or no, God, what? Pretty much Astarte. We have, God, what is the other one? It's kind of associated with Lilith. I can't remember that name. It'll come to me. But yeah, but it's just association. It's just playing the word association game. That's all it is. So, yeah. But yeah, it's not, so, it's not, you know, from the name of an ancient goddess, or that various pagan groups also held ceremonies in the springtime. Neither claim carries much weight. Alright, so it's just the Spring Equinox, mainly for neo-paganism and Wicca. So that's where that comes. So first we'll consider the idea that Easter is a pagan holiday because the name Easter has pagan origins. It does have some pagan origins, but that is simply by coincidence. So some say that the Saxon goddess named Eostre is the namesake of our modern holiday. Others say that the word Easter comes from the name of a Germanic goddess named Ostara. The problem with both of these theories is that there is no real evidence that anyone ever worshipped a goddess by either name. And then is archaeologically proven. So we have proof there. So the only mention of Eostre comes from a passing reference in the history of Venerable Bede, the first mention of a goddess named Ostara in a book by Jacob Grimm, and Grimm admitted that he could find no solid link between Easter and pagan celebrations. Because there's no solid link between Easter and paganism, or Wicca. Well, with Wicca, yeah, of course, because they have, incorporated a lot of Christian, they pretty much, incorporated Christianity. Gerald Gardner incorporated a lot of Christianity, but he was involved in the New Forest Coven, or the Norfolk Coven, his own coven, and it was traditional witchcraft, and he just totally screwed everything up. So we have Gerald Gardner, pretty much, and the, neo-pagans. Alright, so, next we'll consider the idea that Easter is a pagan holiday because its springtime observance coincide with those of pagan religions. So it's not anything to do with paganism, it's nothing to do with witchcraft, but then there's, Wicca, obviously. So, now, there are a plethora of pagan holidays that occur during the season covered by Easter: the day of Bau, Babylonian; Dark Mother Day, Indian; the day of Fortuna, Roman, the feast of Blagini, Romanian, and the feast of Artemis or Diana, which is Greek and or Roman. So, the feast of Tellus Master, which is Roman, the festival of Bast, Egyptian, the festival of Ishtar, Babylonian, the feast of Athenian, and Odin's Day, which is Norse, to name a few. But sharing a date on the calendar is no proof that two holidays are related. Now, a married couple who celebrate their wedding anniversary on October 31st should not be accused of appropriating Halloween. I like that little stab right there that they injected into that bit. So yeah, this is actually really, really truthful, very truthful. So, but yeah, so in short, claims that Easter is a pagan holiday are based on heresy assumptions and inferences, so with no hard evidence to back them up. Even if Easter Sunday were a Christianized version of an ancient pagan holiday, it would mean that Easter itself is a pagan holiday. So no one today is sacrificing to a goddess named Eostre or Ostara, regardless of what a day may once have meant. So its observance today needs to be evaluated on the basis of what it means today. Christians celebrating Easter are no more pagan than the churches who gather to worship on Sunday. So named because it was a pagan day of the sun, which is true. So that's true. All that is true except for Easter. It's not pagan. There's no pagan nothing about Easter. Or, Wicca, but not witchcraft or traditional witchcraft. Well, I mean, within traditional witchcraft, they're dual faith, so, yeah, that's a very good possibility there, too. So, alright, now the pagan origins of the names of the days of the week have nothing to do with the church's weekly gatherings. So there they are, separating, like traditional witches will do, really want to separate yourself from Wicca and from Christianity. Not so much Christianity because it is a dual faith observance, traditional craft, but really big time separating ourselves from Wicca, saying, no, that's not us. It's not us. We don't celebrate that. We don't practice that. That's not what we believe. We are not Wiccan at all. Now, okay, where'd I go? I don't know where I went. Oh, and ancient pagan spring festivals have no real bearing on the modern Christian celebration of Easter. So, no, either side cannot find a solid link from witchcraft here and Easter. No, Easter came later, a lot later, around the time of, well, not around the time, but of pretty much, 1950s. Not when it was, invented or, whatever, created, not the 1950s, but it was brought into more popularity because of Gardner and his coven. So, although not written about Easter, Romans 14, 5-6 apply. One person considers one day more sacred than another. Another considers every day alike. Each of them should be fully convinced in their own mind. Whoever regards one day as special does so to the Lord, blah. Now, if an individual Christian worries about some aspects of an Easter celebration, that Christian should do what he or she believes to be right, so he should not judge others who celebrate differently. Nor should the others judge him when no clear biblical guidance is involved. And that, my friends, is why there is no Easter. It's not pagan, so it's not pagan. So there's a lot more. Is Easter a pagan holiday? Says some yes, but is it really? So here we have more. So some of the angriest comments this person says I've ever received come on a post I wrote about Easter. Well, no wonder. So, I honestly forgot that some Christians are very upset about the use of an allegedly pagan word to describe the permanent Christian holiday. So here's what one commenter wrote. Easter is a bad translation of a word that does not appear in the original language. Easter is a carryover from the Greco-Roman world, which was engulfed in sun worship. Now, the holiday in the word should be changed back to Passover. So it all has to do with the Jewish faith as well. Passover. Alright. Now, This one was the best comments from the Say No to Easter perspective. It was clear, avoided, and homonym. And was written in lowercase, but you should have seen that, seen the abuse. This person says, I got behind the scenes, I'm a closet pagan, I'm destroying the Christian faith, I'm the most ignorant person ever. So yeah, we get that a lot, don't worry. So, is Easter a pagan holiday? Now, I do understand why, as believers, we as believers don't want our holy days to be sullied by association with idolatry. And I want to state at the outset that no one should call Easter again. Easter against his or her own conscience. But I don't think we ought to be upset about the word Easter. Here's why. So, we're not that sure that Easter was a pagan word. So the most sober and reliable source out there, the Oxford English Dictionary, dutifully, whatever, cites that Venerable Bede's contention from 1,300 years ago that Easter is derived from a pagan holiday, but that holiday was not Greco-Roman, it was Anglo-Saxon. Easter, Bede says, was the goddess of spring. So there is that connection with the spring equinox, not Easter. So, and yet the OEG says that this view is confirmed by another source, but the goddess has been suspected by some scholars to be an invention of Bede's. However, it seems unlikely that Bede would have invented a fictitious pagan holiday in order to account for a Christian one. So it's very weird. It's a very weird. A lot of people will argue with you and tell you that yes, it is pagan, and when it is not pagan whatsoever. So this is what you get with scholars, and this is what you should get. And on the one hand, followed by on the other hand, an admission that the evidence is not sufficient for making a determination. We simply don't know the history of the word Easter, and we don't. We don't. So why fight about it? If you've discovered that 38% of scholars believe that OK was an ancient curse derived from O curious, O Lord, why would you refuse to hit the OK button in a computer dialog box? So, words mean what we use them to mean. So it's usage, not etymology, that determines the meaning of English words. So in this person's work, as a writer and a Bible teacher, she says, or he, I'm always underscoring this fact, so don't learn this lesson too well or I'll be out of a job. But let me illustrate that I'm arguing with a word that doesn't occur in Scripture, spinster. The word spinster is now a derogatory way to refer to an unmarried woman who is, shall we say, past the flower of her youth. It doesn't matter that the word spinster once used to mean a woman who works a spinning wheel, a weaver. So, it doesn't matter that the word had a in-between stage too when it just meant unmarried woman. Official census records in the 17th century would list a woman this way: Sarah Harris, Boston spinster. So, there we go. We're getting in with the words, the terminology. So, what wouldn't do, or we wouldn't do this nowadays because words mean what people use them to mean and what changes over time. So, what do English speakers mean when they use the word Easter? What do they mean? So, who among all the countless English speakers who used the word Easter this very day had any idea that the word might possibly have a pagan origin? Now, the ethereal intention of every one of them was to refer to the Christian celebration. She says, I promise you. So, why would you, or why should one set of sounds be superior to another one? So, to name something, as long as everybody understands, just as what Easter means. Easter has no associations with paganism anymore, if ever it really did. So, and you'll find this too. Scarlet something, she's very amazing. She has these amazing videos, and she can tell you why it's not pagan either. So, we all say that Thursday, despite its very clear pagan origins, Thorsday, all the days of the week in English draw their names from paganism. The Easter alternative, Resurrection Sunday, then is just as guilty of pagan associations as Easter supposedly is, because Sunday derives from sun worship, sun day. Today's moon day. So there we go. Thankfully no one means sun worship when they say Sunday. Well, I do. We all do, as pagans and witches. So, we all know that what we all mean by that word, and sun worship is not included. This is coming from a Christian perspective, and pagan all in one, so that's very interesting. So, now, if the true meaning of a word were found in its etymology, we'd have an endless word fights about what we're all... Oh, I thought that was my Siri that just turned on. It about freaked me out. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? Now, where was I going? Yeah, we'd have endless word fights about what we're all really saying about without knowing it. So she says, I encourage people to revel in their ignorance of what words use to mean and work instead of to be sure of what people use them to mean now. So, yeah, we have all these word fights, and it's just ridiculous. So, I mean, there's another one about, Easter is not actually pagan. Now, here's one that I really like. This is the one that I really like. Post-Pascha reminder, Easter is not a pagan holiday. And this is Pathos. Alright, so, it's Eastertide. It's not just one day. If you know an evangelical baby boomer with an internet connection and a tenacious side, chances are you put up with annual claims that this most blessed Christian feast has a pagan origin. More than likely, the attacks have sounded something like the text of this eternally popular but destroyously inaccurate meme, and that is Inanna or Ostara or her. So now it says here, I suspect this gem is the work of poorly researched atheists who take regular swipes at Christmas and have been ably answered. So Christmas actually is. Easter, no. The Facebook page attributed on the meme doesn't appear to exist any longer, so this person says I can't clear or verify this suspicion. Here is the text of the meme, which features a picture of the Babylonian Sumerian goddess Ishtar. So this is Ishtar, pronounced Easter. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. Now, her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with the resurrection? So, after Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus, but at its roots, it is all about celebration, fertility, and sex. Now, wait a minute. No. Now, Jonathan Graham, a Facebook friend of this person, who studied classical antiquity and is pursuing a career in adoption law, was also bothered by this viral nonsense. So he decided to post a point-by-point rebuttal. So he says here, I'll simply quote him with his permission here. Alright, this is Ishtar, pronounced Easter. Okay, this is Ishtar, it's pronounced Easter. So, oof. To lead with that punctuation should be criminal. The fact that anyone took this meme seriously and shared it is indicative of much of what is wrong with social media. If you don't read anything else, please read this. You should be able to tell when a source is trustworthy and when it isn't. And something that looks this bad deserves a little fact-checking. Now down to business. Okay, so that is Ishtar, alright, which is pronounced exactly as it looks. She was the Babylonian adaptation of Inanna, the Sumerian goddess, and had some influence over the development of the cult of Aphrodite in Greece. Now, Ishtar has no etymological relationship to Easter, which is the word of Germanic origin. Isn't this interesting, guys? So Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. She had a lot of festivals. None of them were called Easter. They would be very difficult. Or that would be very difficult, considering the word Easter comes from German tribes much later. Again, more in a moment. So it is correct that she was the goddess of fertility and sex. One of the festivals we have on record regarding her took place in Tammuz, which is about June through July. So, not even close to the Easter season. Now, her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. So notice how there are no eggs or bunnies around the statue at the top. That's because Ishtar has no eggs or bunnies associated with her iconography. Doves, sure. Stars, several. Lions, absolutely. But no eggs and no bunnies. It's still a representation of fertility, though. So, now, ignoring the horrible punctuation, that is the kind of point. The question is rhetorical, after all. That isn't even wrong. Of course, eggs and bunnies don't have anything to do directly with Christ's resurrection. The New Testament doesn't mention either one. Like any iconography, the development is difficult to trace and has various potential sources. But Ishtar isn't one of them because she has no rabbits or eggs associated with her in mythology or iconography. Now, for the rabbits, some ancient authors, Pliny the Elder, in his Naturalist Historia, believed that rabbits were able to reproduce without a mate, i.e., without losing its virginity. Some Christians associated the rabbit then with the Virgin Mary, and thus the rabbit entered into Easter iconography. Additionally, the Easter bunny seems to come from Germany. Now, how it's just Germanic languages talking about Easter. So, as a rabbit, who would dole out gifts of eggs based on how children have behaved during Lent? Now, it sounds like Christmas. But why eggs? So, I hear you asking. Some groups, like the Eastern Orthodox, prohibit the consumption of eggs during the Holy Week, the week before Easter. Now, in order to preserve the eggs so they would not go to waste, the parents would boil the eggs and give them as gifts on Easter, or in the East, Pascha Day, when they could be eaten again, coloring eggs to make them more festive caught on. So, there are some ideas about where these traditions come from. For your amusement, but remember, the bigger point is that they did not come from Ishtar, because eggs and bunnies were not included in her iconography. So it's not at all pagan. Now, after Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, scholars contest whether Constantine Christianized the empire or just hitched his cart to the already spreading Christian horse. Both are possibilities. So, dismissing Christianity on the ground that one or the other is truly simply commits the genetic fallacy. So, Easter was changed to represent Jesus. There was no festival called Easter in Rome or elsewhere in the Mediterranean world. That's because, again, Easter comes from Germanic tribes. In Rome and Greece, Constantine would have celebrated Pascha, which you can see bears even less resemblance to Ishtar than Easter. So, Pascha is the Greek word for what English languages call Easter. So at last, let's talk about the word Easter, where it comes from. The Venerable Bede in De Temporum Ration tells us that the Britons, like many people, name their months after their gods. So just like the Romans had January after Janus, the Britons had Easter Muath after Eostre Ishtar, a Germanic goddess. But wait, I hear the memes authors say, doesn't that prove that Easter is in fact a pagan tradition, which the Christians took over? No, it's not. So, of course, it doesn't. Christians were celebrating what we call Easter as the Paschal season, long before they ran into Britons who worshipped Estare. So, now, when they did get up into Britain, they kept celebrating the same rites, but changed the name, since the Britons set their calendars by the moon, just like the Jewish calendar by which the date of Pascha is calculated. The Paschal celebration always fell when the Easter Muath. So it made sense to call it Easter. Wow, that's a long word. No wonder they said Easter instead of that. So, But to say that this was Christianity picking up on pagan celebrations is like saying that Independence Day in America has something to do with Julius Caesar, because we sometimes call it the 4th of July, a month named for that man. So you see. Now, but at the roots, it's all about the celebration of fertility and sex. Seriously, whoever shares something with grammar that bad in it should be sentenced to a remedial school. I love this article. Patheos, thank you. So perhaps strange to our modern sensibilities, Ishtar's celebrations are not actually about fertility and sex, although some were, but whatever the case may be, it doesn't change the fact that Ishtar has nothing to do with Easter. So, I mean, it's incredible. It literally is incredible. Nothing to do with Easter whatsoever. Alright, so I'm sorry, but we're going to have to continue with the other one tomorrow with with the texts, or with the old craft. But it burns me that people think that this is something to do with paganism, and it's not, and people don't understand that, and people that are familiar with witchcraft and paganism really, no, you're not that educated. And this all came from my 26 minutes of this rambling and all these sources citing these different things about Easter, which is not true. So, but yeah, it was just a post today that I had to say something, and I said something, and I started something, so I had to just back it up. So now I have all my backup. Alright, guys. I got to take my mom to the dentist, so I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm so sorry for all of this, but I just wanted to get it across that Easter has nothing to do with paganism, nor does it do with witchcraft. Sorry, I burst the bubble. But yeah, the full moon right last night was amazing. Your guys' pictures that are coming into me, oh my god. Kim, the energy, the power was incredible. The oil, it will be available. So just check on my public page, facebook.com/ryanjespich, and you guys will see. So my almond oil is not here yet, and I only have a limited supply of my 2-ounce white bottles for the oils, with a very, very classy looking, just barely like a J hook looking dropper. So, alright guys, I'm done. I love you all. All the way from Venus, all the way back down, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you guys like this, my rant on why it's not pagan or witchcraft or anything to do with it. So yeah, alright guys, I love you all very much, and I'm really sorry about this video, but hopefully some people will understand it. Pagans and witches will, but the other side they might not. So I love you guys very much though, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.